Hey guys, it is me, NonRevSims, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have part 3 of the Coastal Vista speed build. So in this part, right now I'm doing the garage area. That's where the built-in toolkit area, manly man space is at. And then I decorate the nursery, I decorate the office towards the end, and I finished the backyard entertainment space, like the outdoor area. It's done up all cute. So yeah, that's what you'll see in this part. But I thought I'd do a story time while we watch and enjoy my decorating skills. Also, I'm sorry, I do apologize for the sound of my voice. I am recovering from a very nasty cold that I had while I was traveling. So please excuse the voice. I really wanted to get this part out to you guys, and I didn't want to wait until I was feeling like 100% myself. So you're going to have to put up with the sound of my raspy sick voice, or end of sickness voice. So in this part, I thought I'd talk about, or I'd do a story time. Haven't done one of those in a while. I thought I'd tell you guys the story about the time a man faked a heart attack. So just a little background information. Right now, I currently only fly domestic, which means I only work flights within the United States. Sometimes I do South America, well, not South America. I do Central America, like the Caribbean and stuff. But other than that, I don't do any long haul international, meaning I don't work any Europe flights or any Asia flights or Africa. I don't work any of those flights. They're just too much for me. But when I first started my career as a flight attendant, I was an international flight attendant. I was based on the West Coast, and at the time, this was two separate things for my company. You were either a domestic flight attendant or an international flight attendant. And to be an international flight attendant, it was a little harder because you had to have a little more seniority. So when I graduated flight attendant training, myself and my classmates, we were put on what is called reserve, which pretty much just means that we were on call. So we were there in case someone got sick or had to cancel last minute. We basically didn't know where we were going until either the night before so the minimum time they had to give us a flight was 3 hours. So if the flight left at 7 p.m., they would let me know by 4 p.m. the latest. So I used to get called for flights to Tel Aviv, Israel with 3 hours notice. So you could see why I hate flying international now. No time to prepare. But anyway, I was on call, and there was one day myself and 4 of my classmates got called in for a trip, an international flight, in addition to 8 other new hires who were in the domestic base. They weren't even in the international base, but there were only 5 of us left in the international base, so they had to dip into the domestic divas. So it was really unusual because typically if they call one of us to work a flight, there's usually only one position, because people like international flights because, you earn more money when you only do 2 flights. You work 1 flight there, layover, and then work 1 flight back. So people really love those flights. So usually there's only one position open, whereas on this one, the entire flight segment, all of the positions were open. This was really weird. So I was carpooling with my roommate, who's also my classmate my roommate at the time, and I was just super suspicious. Like, why are they calling all of us in to work this flight? This makes no sense. It was a flight to China, and I also looked at the time and realized this flight is leaving really delayed, because the China flights typically leave at a certain time, and it was a China flight. So I was just really confused because these flights leave at a certain hour. They usually leave in the morning, and it was already maybe 6 o'clock in the evening when we were called to come in. So I'm just like, why are we coming in this late? Anyway, we get to the gate area, and it's not a very full flight. Like, we noticed the people milling around, and it's not that many people. And typically our international flights are booked up. They're pretty full. And this wasn't the case. So we were talking with the customer service representative, the gate agent who was working the flight, and it turns out that this flight had gone already. They were in the air for about an hour and a half to 2 hours when they had to turn back because there was a passenger who had a medical emergency. This passenger in question, he didn't speak English, but thankfully his sister was with him, who alerted the crew that he was having a heart attack. So the pilots contacted, air traffic control, and they determined that the best option for this man to save his life practically was to turn around and come back. That was the best option for him and his survival. So they turned around and came back, and in this time, the pilots would have been illegal to work the flight, meaning they would have been over the maximum allotted time, flight time. And that's something that's regulated by the government, so they couldn't go over it. So they had to get new pilots, and in the time it took to get new pilots, the flight attendants went illegal. So then that's where all of us newbies came in and had to replace all the flight attendants. So as we're boarding the plane, I'm helping the new hires in first class because they had never been on this plane before. And a passenger stops me and says, "Do not let him on. They cannot let him on." Turns out that the passenger in question had decided to refuse medical treatment and wanted to come back on the flight. Turns out he faked the entire thing. He apparently forgot something at home and wanted to come back and retrieve it before he went off to China. So he decided to fake a heart attack so that he could run home and get his item. I don't know if you guys know this, but it cost thousands upon thousands of dollars for these airlines to rent gate space, to fuel a plane and then dump it all so they can land properly. It's just so much goes into getting a plane off of the ground, and the fact that he purposely caused this delay just to go home and retrieve something makes no sense at all. Like, we eventually had to have him escorted off the plane because at that point he's a flight risk. What if he were to fake another heart attack because who knows? He probably left his entire baby at home or whatever. But yeah, we had him taken off the plane and all was well. And we left with this flight that was like now maybe 8 hours delayed or something crazy. But yeah, I see lots of things, not necessarily that big of delays, but you just see lots of interesting things on flights that kind of make me go, And it's a fun job, but it's like, it makes me realize just how crazy mankind is. There's something wrong. I don't know what's not clicking. Anyway, back to the build. Here I am decorating the nursery. I changed the colors later on because if you know me, choosing a color will take forever and a day. So I decided to leave it as it is, just pull out all the objects I wanted, and then I will come back and recolor it, which you will see towards the end. And then I think right after this, I decorate the office. So you'll see all this once it's done up. But yeah, you did see the outdoor entertainment space, which does have a nice fire pit. Honestly, this is my dream beach house. I don't know about you, but for me, this is my dream beach house. It has a fire pit, the outdoor seating area with the lights and the lit up palm tree back there. I thought that was really cool. And it's also kind of secluded. It's like your own private little entertainment space once you get back from chilling at the beach. So yeah, I really like that. And then also in the garage, I forgot to mention, because in the last part I talked about the boats. Maybe that was the first part, but I decided to put the boats back in, but they're just I don't know what it's called, but you'll see it in the final part. You'll see them hanging up on the wall. It's the boats they use to I don't know what it's called. Anyway, guys, I'm just rambling at this point. I will let you enjoy the last few minutes of the build. In a few minutes, you'll see what I did to the nursery. You'll see the colors. But other than that, you guys can watch and enjoy the rest. If you want to hear any more funny aviation story times, because I have lots, or if you want me to talk about some other stuff like life, whatever, I don't know, whatever you guys want me to talk about, let me know down in the comments. I'll be happy to talk about it. Clearly, I love rambling. You know, if you couldn't tell, I do. I will literally talk your head off about anything. Even if I don't know the topic, I'll go research it just to hear my own voice talking out loud. But yeah, we're doing up the office now, and then I think I go back upstairs and show off the colors. Okay, yeah, there's the colors. But I do come back and you'll see the room a bit more in better detail. But if I don't, I'm sorry. Anyway, I'll let you guys enjoy the last few seconds of the speed build, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.